Okay, this is going to be the second video of the day where I go over the 13th day Everlasting Faith relic, which is the prayer relic in tier 7 presumably. You gain prayer points no longer drain, which is useful. Protection prayers and deflection curses block for 50% of damage. That is also really useful. This means either it's 50% on top of the 50% you already have, or it's 100%. More than likely this is 100% if I had to guess, but even still, right? It basically means you don't die, right? Because you don't have to take the damage and you can learn the boss, right? And as long as you have perfect prayer flicking, you are immortal here. Protection prayers and deflection curses act as soul split being active, which again that means you're now more tankier, and on top of that you also heal, which pairs up nicely with the melee perk, which has that 10% of a healing buff on top of that. And also you can also pair that up with maybe even vampirism, right? Because you can unlock vampirism from War's Retreat. They said all of the auras that you gain from Solomon's, those are out. But all of the auras you get in-game, you're allowed to use them. So vampirism is allowed in the league, and you pair that up and you basically become unkillable. On death, revives with 100% of your maximum life point. You basically become tanky. Like, you cannot die with this relic, which I think is really useful for returning players or old school players who are trying to get into PVM in Runescape 3, but they find it difficult. I think this relic isn't going to be as impactful for endgame PVMers in Runescape 3 who are very comfortable with the combat. However, if you want to go down that tanky route, you now have this. And it's really useful. It's a really useful relic. And I think it's a tier 7 relic. It earns its place as a tier 7 relic, which I'm happy about. And yeah, these are all the relics. And depending on your playstyle, for tier 7 you have options. I don't think there is a bad option in tier 7. And I think it all depends on your skill level of the game and what you can and what you want to do. I just think this is a really good relic. I think it's a tier 7. It is worthy of a tier 7 relic, so I'm happy with that. I think tier 5, tier 6, tier 7, they're all really good. Tier 1, 2, and 3 are like questionable depending on what you want to do and what that early game progression looks like. It's heavily dependent on that. But yeah, tier 7 is really good. And I don't think there's a bad choice in tier 7. I don't think there's a bad choice in tier 6 either. Or a tier 5. Because again, you also have to remember you get the passive effects for 20%. You get 20% increased accuracy at tier 1, so that also helps you out overall. So overall, it looks like a lot of the later game relics are really good and are really useful, and I'm looking forward to leagues when it drops.